It will?
Holy crap, it didn't. Sorry. How you guys doing? Welcome to the live show. Usually there's like a number countdown, and so we're waiting for the 3, 2, 1, but there was nothing there.
Hopefully you didn't get the pre-conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was saying lots of bad stuff,
Yeah.
and then we went live.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the Dr. G live show on Facebook. Today, or last week, if you guys know, we were talking with Scott, and we had, hey, there's Tracy's online.
Hey, Tracy.
So we were, and there's Tim.
Steven, Tim, Anthony.
We were apparently having mood lighting. So it was the same exact lighting as last time, except I have a monitor that went in front of the lamp, and so I didn't realize it was that dark. And so then when you look at the video of the mindfulness, I mean, it looks like me and him are having this little romantic, like low light kind of talk. Like
That was pretty low light.
it was, but it's
That's why I said I was going to bring my ambient light, my salt lamp.
That's what. Okay,
Yeah, we needed more light.
that makes sense. Tracy said hello.
Hello, Tracy.
And Rachel joined us. So thanks you guys for joining us. So last week we talked about mindfulness. We're going to have Scott back on probably next week and
that's
talk
awesome.
about more mindful eating. And so really being fully present in the decisions that we make and why we do certain things. And I got to say, over the last year, I mean, I try to be very authentic and real when I talk about my own stuff in front of everybody. Because we all go through the same crap, same mud, same blood. So, you know, it's pretty universal. So we all struggle with these things, and I like the idea that I had to go through that same struggle, and I really had to make those changes, and I want to share those kind of vulnerabilities with everybody else too. You know,
Absolutely.
And then this week we have a special guest, and her name is. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Here I am.
It's Susie, right?
Whatever you
No,
want to. It's just whatever.
What is it?
Well, my
It's
family
Suzanne.
calls me Susie. My official name is Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Susan. I get all kinds of stuff.
So what was the name I'm not supposed to call you? No, you told me.
No, there were maybe other names, but
No, you said, like, wasn't this Susie or something?
it might have been. I didn't say that. Maybe someone
You
else
told me.
said that.
And then I was always very, worried that I was going to say the wrong name.
No, it's all right. You can call me whatever.
All right then.
It starts with a S. Hey, S, what's up? I'm good.
You're a real S.
Yeah.
So Suzanne's going to be here, and she's going to talk about kind of her journey. So, we had some really interesting cases before. So we did that 15 years of transformational life changes for people to get rid of Crohn's, and we had a girl with Crohn's, an adult with Crohn's that just gone like that, right? And then one with weird autoimmune stuff that the doctor could never figure out. And so I love those kind of case presentations to where people, it's not me saying I could do these things or I can help these patients, but really the patient saying, with a little bit of guidance and push in the right direction, they were able to really overcome these life-changing things. Where they were just screwed before, And
it's a choice at some point. You go through these steps where I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, and I need somebody like Patrick.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
By the way, what?
See this?
Yeah, check it out.
All right. I'm gonna wear this everywhere, all around town, right? So, some of you guys know, I did the Tough Mudder. And that was an awesome thing.
Hi, everybody.
So the Tough Mudder, I did with my niece Brandy, and we did the half one, which was running 5 miles and then 12 obstacles. And what I really liked about that race was most competitions you go to, you're just like me against everyone else.
Right.
But the Tough Mudder, you can't do a lot of them by yourself. And so there's this one thing that you run up this incline, and you got to just
and they
jump.
catch you if you don't make it.
Yeah, and they catch you. And so I was just like, and they caught me. And then there's like a pyramid where everybody stands on top of each other's shoulders, and someone helps them up. And there's this.
What's the last guy do?
Well, everybody hangs down, and he climbs up.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's crazy.
It's really awesome. And so I love that you have to help people. So once you're up there, then you start helping everybody else. And there's all these like 8-foot dips within mud, and they're like half filled with water. Right. And it was just amazing. But I didn't realize, I thought I had some mud on my face, like a little bit. And apparently, I mean, I was solid black with mud.
Yeah. Hey, do you have that picture? No, your phone's up there, so.
No, it's on Facebook.
Go on his Facebook page
don't do that.
and check out his Tough Mudder stuff.
Yeah.
He's like covered in mud, like completely.
And so there was this big giant black
like
guy that was behind me with his wife. Yeah. And then I would help him up because he was just massive. And so I'd help him up, and then he would help, he'd help me get up, and then I'd help him up. And I helped his wife get up all the time. And then we would just keep switching out, right? Yeah. And so then I thought at some point when I got done, I was like, I'm all like just, it looks racist. Like I turn around, he should have been like, you racist son of a, like, are you mocking me?
But you're not.
No, but I didn't realize. So when I did those pictures, I was drinking the beer. They get a beer at the end, and it was Guinness blonde, I think. And I was getting mud inside there. It was gross. So if you guys see me sniffing like that, I apparently got mud and crap all inside my sinuses, and I've been blowing for like 3 days, like mud.
Yeah, probably.
It's gross.
Probably just about everything.
Yeah.
What, did you have to swim through mud? Do some?
We had to crawl over and over like that.
All kinds of obstacles and stuff. Yeah.
And the last one was electrodes. And so there's 100,000 volts of electricity and all these little electrodes. And so my first instinct was I'm going to just run through it because I watched them. I went to one in in Vail, or Aspen, one of those, and they just ran through and it just and they fell down. And
what?
Oh, it's a lot. And so
I don't know. That's strong stuff right there.
This one I decided they give you a beer, like the speaker one that gave me a drink of her beer, and she's like, go for it, and I went in the deep dark mud and then came up over the bay.
Oh, but so you don't. Oh,
I hit one. So they're all
over the top.
Thousands of them dangling over you.
Yeah.
And I hit one on my spine, and it shocked the hell out of me. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I did not run through those. But next year I'm doing the 12-mile and like 23 obstacles.
Right.
And I'm going to run through that thing. I'm going to do it.
Do they have the electrode things at all Tough Mudders? You know?
Yeah, so the half ones aren't supposed to do it, but they told us when we were there that we had to do it. Or you can have an option, but they said it's part of it. So I was like, hell yeah.
That's too much.
That's
I wonder what the liability is on that. Does anybody know?
You sign a waiver before you come in, and you show them a ID. So it's just like, if you die, you're dead.
Sorry.
Yeah, so...
Thanks for trying.
Anyways, I got my headband.
Yeah.
And
I asked him if he was a little bit sore.
Yeah, at first I felt great during the whole thing. Like, so
adrenaline does that too. If you're all high on adrenaline, you don't feel anything.
Is adrenaline like meth? Cause
it can be.
I think I was high on meth too, with adrenaline. So, so I kept telling my niece, like, let's jog, let's run, let's go, let's do it. And she's like, why do you have so much energy? Well, you know, with that Couch to 5K, I'm like running a 5K every other day.
That's awesome.
So,
who else runs marathons or does any kind of Tough Mudders? Anybody that's watching?
Yeah, if you
just
guys
write something.
Post it. Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Then we have all who the Tough Mudders are.
Yeah, you can form a bond.
So with your stuff,
I'm Suzanne, by the way. Hi.
With a Z or an S?
It's an S.
It's an S.
You can call me that or Susie or whatever.
Yeah.
It all works.
Yeah. So we met in mindful class, right?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about 7 months ago. Scott, who was here last week, he and I went to school together at Northwest High. He graduated in 87 and I graduated in 86. And he had been inviting me to come to the mindfulness class for quite a while, and I wasn't quite ready. And it's like we said earlier, you know, it's a decision. You have to be ready for certain things, and sometimes you're just at the end of your wits, and you're just, I got to do something. Something's got to change. And so, yeah, I started going there about 7 months ago, and we had a nice small group of people that were really actually on the same page with life.
Yeah.
Lots of
That was
parallels.
amazing.
Lots of parallels at the time. I don't know. So we really kind of formed a bond. We call it our tribe now.
So.
However that is, yeah.
Order the blue waffles.
Yeah.
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 Sunshine Mafia.
Yeah. So we go to our mindfulness class whenever we can, and then we meet for lunch, and we have a lot of really, really good conversations. And there's a lot of real support within that too.
Yeah.
I think emotional support and friendship, and something that I've been really looking for a long time, for a group that I could be in that same category of like-mindedness.
Yeah.
That was huge for me, because I had such a long life of not being open about things. So. Yeah,
and you fit like a glove in there too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yep.
And then, so one of the purposes of you today, right, is to kind of talk about, like, I love patients that, like, they're kind of like falling apart, nobody can help them, and then they get fixed, right? And the nice thing about that, they truly become this beacon of light to other people, right? Mm-hmm. And as you guys are watching this, feel free to post. I'll try to answer things as they come by. You'll see me trying to read it. Luckily, I'm still young enough. I can read the little tiny print across there.
Yeah, you have your glasses on, so it helps.
What's up with that?
I mean, you are still young enough. Sorry.
All right. So feel free to post, and like Liz.
Hi,
how you doing? So if we don't answer all your questions during this time, we'll always go back and answer them too. So don't feel sad if you don't get them answered right away. But I appreciate you guys joining us, and really feel free to share this and like it. This is those kind of things that really can be that spark that makes a difference in other people's lives.
Absolutely.
So talk about your story.
Oh, well, when I first came to see Dr. Garrett, I was kind of one of those people where I had been on medication since I was 18. Blood pressure medicine was the main one. Yeah, since I was 18.
Wow.
Took a lot of different ones throughout the years.
That's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thanks. So it was like, for 25 years, 30 years, I was on medication. And I never really felt comfortable with that. But about 25 years ago, I really took a big look into why would I, be this body type, and, blood pressure does run in my family, but I was exercising, I was healthy, I was eating healthy, all of those things, but I had blood pressure, so it could have been, hypertension, a lot of emotional stress or anything like that. So about 25 years ago, I started reading a lot of articles and trying to come up with some reason. Why?
Yeah.
Why would
Isn't
someone like
supposed
me?
to figure this out?
The doctor's supposed to figure this out. So I went to lots of doctors throughout the years. So I started looking at natural food stores, and I started reading books and kind of just diving in and trying to find as much information as I could. The first thing that I did back then was I stopped drinking milk. I stopped eating sugar.
Because dairy's the devil.
And alcohol. Oh my gosh, all you have to do is just get online and look up what's in the stuff. Alcohol.
So what kind of
I stopped alcohol.
Beer and wine?
Like everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've done that periodically throughout the years. And salt. All the things that they say could cause high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Or hypertension. So did that. And I went vegetarian about 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went completely vegetarian.
Vegetarian or sugartarian? Were you a healthy vegetarian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't eat meat. But I ate pasta, and I ate all those other things that play into
right.
what
so
causes a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
Well, it's hard to tell you're a vegetarian because you weren't condescending all the time. That's the only reason to be vegetarian was to look down on
you
other
should
people.
not eat that. That's nasty.
That's why I'm a vegetarian. How dare you?
Anybody a vegetarian out there? Anybody? No? Yes?
No.
No. So what happened was I was losing a lot of weight. I was very thin. I was like 105 pounds, and I'm 5'6", so it wasn't probably the best thing for me. And at that point, I didn't really know what else to do. I didn't have any guidance. You know, I could research and read books, and at that time, or in between 25 and 15 years ago, internet started. So Diana is a vegetarian, and
hey, look at that.
Hey, George, thank you. And yep, Diana is vegan.
Yeah.
Good deal. So somewhere when internet started, I actually got a chance, and then fish and eggs, yeah. And so some people, and I really felt like, you know, some people can really do that and make that part of their life. And I really wasn't one of those people. And I think we have to really listen to our bodies a lot. Sometimes when we're eating something we feel bad, I mean, just, hello, we got to stop eating it. So mostly organic. And that was a period when I was actually starting premenopause. I might say things that are kind of personal here, so you know, weird.
Don't worry, I grew up with all girls, so.
Yeah, you girls know, you know, premenopausal stuff, and
guys go through
even
menopause.
Guys. Yes,
Menopause.
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
Menopause. Did I tell you that? Did I tell you that?
No.
Menopause,
it's
because hormones change and everything.
They buy a Corvette, hair falls out, buy a vet, get divorced.
Yeah.
That's andropause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andropause?
Yeah.
Andropause.
Androgens, yeah, for like
Androgens.
no hormones. Yeah.
The guy hormones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Dude moans.
And then they go, you know, start buffing up in the gym and doing tough mudders and stuff.
Oh, that's cold.
He's the most mellow guy I know, besides a few other people.
That's because all the meth.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so in that period of time, 25 to 15 years, I was really trying to do a lot of just investigating and trying to figure out what's wrong. There's something else. I shouldn't be having these things. So about, you know, and
so first of all, those are, for like 10 years, that's huge changes.
Yeah.
But still didn't get it.
No.
Wow. Okay.
There's more.
Mas.
No, yeah. So between, you know, 25, 15, and then 4 years ago, I was having a heart attack for I don't know how many months. Eventually, it came right down to the fact that I thought I was going to die, you know, kind of thing, and went to the doctor the next day, and they're like, well, we went to emergency medical, one of the med centers or whatever, and they're like, we can't diagnose you, but you need to go to the emergency room. So went, and pretty much, you know, that was, hi Kim, and that was kind of the beginning of something's got to change.
So did you have a heart attack?
I did.
Holy crap.
I mean, I think for 2 days I had at least 3 life-threatening heart attacks that I didn't.
I feel like you're kind of
should've-
bragging.
I know, I've almost died twice, and the heart attack was one of them, and I'm like, I'm just happy to be alive.
That's crazy.
It is.
All right, so you get a new chance. So
2
surviving
new
a heart
chances.
attack means you get a new chance to start over
Yes.
and fix that, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and a lot of people don't get that chance.
Yeah.
And I've always been very passionate about, you know, health, and, you know, when I was 16, I was teaching aerobics, and
Really?
not in the right way, but, you know.
You'd be CrossFit training now.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of stuff. Always been healthy and athletic. Always playing sports. So with my body type and the way I live my life and et cetera, having the heart attack was kind of an eye-opener. It does run in my family. Heart disease does. And so I don't know, you know, if my genes are conditioned to...
because if you...
Well,
okay.
I know, we'll get to that.
All right.
I know exactly what he's going to say.
Patience.
Patience.
In Padawan or something.
Sure.
Padawan?
Right.
I don't know.
Whatever you want to say.
I'm not a Star Trek fan.
Patience in anything, really. So you could say anything. So, a year and a half ago, I went through, and have been going through for, you know, 25, 30 years, pretty stressful relationships, and I I have a lot of respect for those relationships, and so I don't mean to say anything bad about them, but it was me having stress. And maybe there were some other things that were causing it. And then there might have been just me causing a lot of it. So
relationships
I'm
aren't
just saying,
stressful.
just a little.
Especially with guys. We're the
Yeah.
most easy. No, we're
Yeah, relationships are really,
a mess.
they can be.
Yeah.
It depends on, who your partner is and how willing they are to be acknowledging those things that come up in relationships, and that really,
I'm like this close to switching teams.
Really?
Yeah. If I can find a guy that looks like Brad Pitt,
Oh.
and he's just like mellow, and I'd be like, yeah. We could both wear the same clothes. He likes what I like.
Yeah.
No drama.
No drama at all.
Ah, it's so tempting.
I'm saying. It's just two people in the same room sometimes. It's like brother and sister. I don't know. People just get along or they don't get along. And if you really have feelings for somebody, Anyway, relationships can be stressful at times. And so that's kind of a big thing in our lives. Work and kids and relationships and money, finances. There's a schmeal of things. There's so much self-help information out on the internet now. You can just go and you can see all kinds of things that might help you. But in my case, I was overworked emotionally, and I take responsibility for that. We should always take responsibility for our own actions and own up to what our part is in anything. But so a year and a half ago, I decided that I was done. I don't really
With
even
life?
know. Yeah, that was after the 4-year heart attack. Okay, so I just kind of decided that there's a time in our lives when we're just at our wits' end and we're ready to make a life change.
Yeah.
And life
Were we
changes.
at the same time?
Yes. Absolutely, we're at the same time. And as a matter of fact, our little tribe group at meditation, I think we all had that sort of year or year and a half time frame where we realized life needs to change.
Yeah.
And this is going to be rough getting through it and acknowledging it and moving forward and making changes and stuff. That was amazing that our group was all sort of parallel and
that's so funny
making
because
those changes.
I thought it was just me. Like, I just joined you guys, and it was just like, oh, I'm going through this crisis.
Right.
And I'm going to get better, and I'm going to take charge of my life and do all these healthy things. But it's funny that, okay, so everybody was doing it at the same time, huh? Oh, that's funny.
I do.
That's right.
And on a different level, I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
For those of you who know what I'm talking about. We draw certain things into our lives, and they can be lessons, or we can have, tribes. We can form, support groups and networks and friendships and things that really help us.
Right tribe.
Right tribe.
Yeah.
Right on.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that environmental change that helped me sift through those emotions, and then coming back to myself and who I am. Because a lot of times in life we adjust who we are to fit some other category. Right?
Yeah.
Have you done that? Have you had that? Anybody have had that?
That was most of my life.
Experience where, you feel like all of a sudden, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah. So the emotional change, the environmental change. And then, so 7 months ago was that. And then 4 months ago, about 4.5 months ago.
Did you go before?
Since I met you at meditation, then I was like suddenly going, oh, I wonder if it'd be weird if I asked him to be my doctor. Now that we've shared all these like experiences in our mindfulness class and our meditation. So I sent him a message one night and I said, hey, would it be okay if you would be my doctor? Would you be my doctor? And by the way, I also had, and he said yes.
I think it was a drunk text at like 2 in the morning. Would you be my doctor?
Hey, I think it was kind of late, wasn't it? I was just sitting up and I was like,
need help.
I need to do something.
Let's just get together and help. No?
No.
All right, fine.
And then he said yes. So I came out and visited him. And I've always had like a white coat syndrome. I don't know about y'all, but I've had You go to your doctor's office and you sit out in the lobby for like an hour, and you're sitting out there and you're going, oh my God, my blood pressure is going to get high. And then I'm going to go in there and then they're going to say, your blood pressure is really high, and we're freaking out, and everybody freaks out, and then I have to take more medicine. So for a long, long time, I have, ever since I was probably a teenager, have had white coat syndrome.
Yeah. Seems kind of racist. I'm just kidding.
So yeah. So that's why he doesn't have a white coat when I come in. Because I told him that. He doesn't wear his white coat. Yeah. Yeah. Don't put it on. No, I'm over that.
Freaking out.
Okay, so then when I came in here and talked with him, we spent literally an hour first he sent me the little
intake
form. And I was like, seriously? I'm going to have to print this off. This is huge. There was like 15 pages or something.
Yeah.
And I had never seen anything like it. I've seen, doctors who are in holistic clinics. But this is probably the first intake form that has really gone into, how's your sleep? How's your sleep patterns?
How do you poo?
How do you poo?
Yeah.
How do you do all of these really, really serious questions about your lifestyle? Yeah. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you in a relationship? Are you wanting a relationship? That's his.
Are you wanting a relationship with a doctor?
That's his secret question. Are you single, married?
That's right.
How many kids do you have?
No kids.
Yeah. But anyway, so I came in here and we talked about everything, and I'll turn it over to him because I was after the heart attack 4 years ago, and I also have a 25-year-old and a 5-year-old, and so that was having a 5-year-old coupled with like the symptoms that I was getting from taking the medicine. It was not good, and I felt horrible. Yeah. I couldn't get up in the morning without having panic attacks or anxiety or, oh my God, am I going to get through today? Is Alex going to wake up okay? I had like 100 things going through my head, and I think a lot of people do that when they don't take medications. But a lot of the medications that were taking, even though you can look on the label, you can get online and you can read all the details about the medicines you're taking, how he presented it to me was, how Dr. Patrick presented it to me was over the top. I don't want to take this anymore. So I was taking, what was I taking?
Yeah.
He's talked about this stuff before.
You're taking 3 blood pressure medicines and still had hypertension?
I thought I had 2 blood pressure medicines. See, I didn't even know what I was taking.
Yeah. And like with your beta blocker that you're taking, that blocks beta adrenergic receptors, and that's your adrenaline. That's so like your pep and like zip in life will just like disappear with that. And so it's like we can make your blood pressure low by calming you down to where you can't function anymore.
That was me.
And with guys, like erectile dysfunction, like that, because blood pressure is how they get erection. And so the beta blocker slows down all that. It's crazy. And then losartan and the other one, I mean, it's...
Aspirin. What does aspirin do for people?
So, for every 10,000 people that are protected by the thinning aspects of aspirin, 14,000 people die from the side effects of it. So the goals should be more like nattokinase, streptokinase, serratiopeptidase, those kind of things that actually break down clots and don't kill you in the process. Yeah. So
and that was every day. Most doctors prescribe an aspirin for anyone who has heart issues or anything like that.
Yeah.
Hi, Theo.
And then also statins, which just mess you up like crazy. So like the number one side effect is like dementia, memory loss, brain fog, and then the worst thing is like permanent muscle wasting disease.
Yeah.
And then which is 1 out of 20 people. And then also it messes up the neurotransmitters in the brain and gets rid of CoQ10, so you can't function. And life sucks really fast with that.
Yeah.
And our goal wasn't, when you come in,
Valerie and Sherilyn.
the goal isn't to get you off medications. It's to change your lifestyle so where it's consistent with life and longevity to where you don't need chronic medication intervention.
Right.
And that's 3 out of 4 Americans are just chronically managing chronic conditions. And no doctor is addressing, why do you have it?
Right.
It's like when you went to your doctor, like, why do I have high blood pressure? Well, it's a big mystery, right?
Yeah.
When I was like 20-something, I went to my doctor and I had high blood pressure. And I was like, well, what caused that? And he goes, Patrick, 95% of the time, we just don't know. And again, it's like, well, I think you went to school for this or something. Like, isn't there a book on this somewhere? Like, it can't be this big of a mystery.
Yeah.
And then when I get to cardiovascular physiology, they had a chart. Here's what causes hypertension. And all of it is lifestyle. It's all lifestyle. So if you don't do lifestyle, then you're just going to be on meds. And that's where, with especially
and that just makes everything else worse.
Right. Yeah.
So it's hard to change lifestyle when you're freaking out all the time because you have all of these side effects happening.
Yeah.
And so even though I knew that I had these side effects from all of this medication, you still go, well, maybe that's not it.
Yeah.
Maybe because I get to the top of the stairs and I can't hardly stand up from the pain shooting up your legs. Oh, that's not the medication.
Yeah.
Right?
So
and he informed me too that typically after a heart attack, people only take this medication for a year. And I was on my 4th year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'd been taking it long enough that it was really causing some damage. So yeah, all of those things I was taking cholesterol medicine when my cholesterol wasn't even an issue.
That's fun.
I mean, it's this crazy stuff. And I think I've only had one doctor, a heart surgeon, who said, we could go in and do some exploratory stuff because of some valve that maybe wasn't operating correctly. And I was like, well, I'm good. I'll just take this little pill because I don't want to do a life risk surgery. So, so that was that. But it was managed well enough, I think, with that tiny little pill at the time. So,
so one thing, when you're talking about how long you have to wait in the waiting room?
Yeah.
Holy crap, I cannot tell you how pissed off I get. Like, I've been in the doctor's waiting room 3 times in the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is bull crap. They're wasting my whole day. Like, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to plan your whole day around it.
How am I not, my life's not important here,
Yeah, right. Well, sometimes you can take off work and I'll be gone for a couple hours. I got a doctor's appointment, and you're like, but I can't because I don't know how long I'm going to be sitting in the waiting room, or if they're going to be on something else. Somebody else is having a heart attack, and I'm going to sit there for another hour.
So how long do you have to wait here?
10, 15 minutes.
Oh, that's
But I got here early.
Oh, okay. I was like, I try to be on time.
I like his office anyway because it's got a kitchen right there. They offer you up some drinks and stuff, and I'm like, yeah. What else you got in the cabinet?
That's the other cabinet on the other side.
Oh man, I looked in the wrong one.
So no, I hate that. So I feel horrible if patients have to wait very long. And then sometimes we have patients that are just like they don't tell you the really intense stuff till the very end, and then you're just like, crap, we got to deal with this. But then I'm always very, very apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry.
Well, sure. I mean,
yeah.
I spent a whole hour in here, and we just really, he just gave me the lowdown on all of this stuff and telling me what it's doing to me. So I'm like, okay. So that was on a Friday. I usually try to make my doctor's appointments on Fridays because then, if I'm gone for 3 hours at a doctor's appointment, then I can go home after that.
There you go.
But,
I like that.
But it was only an hour in here, and then I waited for 10 or 15 minutes. But I never really had anybody explain anything to this degree that when I came to visit you. That was
Did I draw
huge
pictures?
for me. Yes, he drew a lot of pictures. And ironically enough, I know all about that, neurotransmitters and pathways and, all that brainiac stuff. I'm not a trained person, but I have studied a little bit of it. So I went home, and then Saturday, and I've suggested this before, we should do pantry raids.
Yeah.
I think somebody told me I was nutso. You can't. People be really mad.
Oh.
You go in there and get their stuff out of their cabinet. Go, It's killing ya. It's killing ya.
Well, and we
Keep
used to
eating it.
offer that as a service, like a
Oh,
pantry
really?
clean out and a pantry makeover. There you go. But it's like
So you
probably
need to put a
90% of their
patent on
food.
that. You need somebody file a patent for him, Tracy. So pantry raids can happen in your house. Just give us a heads up. We'll schedule it in.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll come and we'll help. We'll help you.
Well, it's very eye-opening. I mean, so one thing we do is we do this kind of protocol where we talk about food as medicine, chemicals that we want to switch out, and then eating for hormones, not exhausting hormones.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of the stuff that we talked about. You were already like knew a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. And I've like I said, I've eaten healthy, just for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
But ironically enough, I cleaned out a lot of my pantry
Yeah.
because I didn't do the blood test, and I probably should have done the blood
Oh, the food
test
sensitivities.
for the food sensitivities.
Did you ever do that? Wow,
No,
so that's
I
pretty
just
good
did it.
with all this.
I just got through the cabinet thing, and my 5-year-old is also very. He's like me in a way. I mean, when I was pregnant with him, I ate avocados and natural protein drinks and things like that. So he's like he needs more. Here, take mine.
Oh, okay.
And 'cause
I still got a lot.
I still have a little bit of tea.
And
And I'm doing what he's doing because my 5-year-old was sick last week. So
Did you do the Tough Mudder?
no, I didn't do the Tough Mudder, and I won't.
All right.
I'm okay with that. But you hike and stuff, and I don't even do that anymore. So what I did is I cleaned out my pantry. I know I said that already. Cleaned out my pantry. And my son, like I was talking about, he's always kind of eaten healthy with me. As a matter of fact, his favorite is salad and
Well, that's
avocados, and yes, he's kind of like me, fruit, and So basically, I went right back down to the very basic stuff. I travel a lot, so I took a lot of stuff with me, and that's really hard to do. I've also traveled for like 25 years around the country and internationally, so it's been very hard. And actually, Subway is one stops that I would go to just because it was fresh product. But anyway, so and now I kind of work for them, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been working for them?
3.5 years. I'm a consultant.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that, and I just went right back to nuts, seeds, berries. And even stopped drinking coffee, and by the way, he has said he quit drinking coffee because he has all this constant like
Yeah.
congestion-y stuff, and I don't know if that's a word, congestion-y, but
Yeah.
so I quit drinking coffee. I drink it a little bit here and there, but it made a big difference too. When I did that, I went cold turkey. And I know a lot of people can't do that and don't want to do that. And I actually don't recommend it. If you're strong enough, and I've already been on that path for 25 years, if you're a strong enough person that you can really be diligent and following through.
Man, I make everybody do cold turkey.
Yeah. You do?
I do.
What?
Yeah, bullshitting around. You just gotta just shut it down.
I don't think he
And then
does
I give
that.
and then I
Do you
give
do
grace.
that? Do you really?
Man, this whole summer since I decided to take my life back and just do the right thing, be the man I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do. I
You
suppose
just
all that
go.
stuff.
You just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes.
So, yeah, no, with most patients, I really push them because, like, a lot of times it's just like everybody wants to make one change. What's one change this week and one change that? Well, by the time you look at all the stuff we have to change, it'll be forever before they ever get through that. And then it's just like, well, I'll get rid of wheat, but I'm going to feel horrible while I do dairy, so I won't feel any better. And then I'll get rid of wheat and dairy, but I'll still do a bunch of sugar and chemicals. And so, like, my goal is to try to get people feeling the fastest, immediate,
some
benefit.
feeling of benefit.
Yeah. And so even though it sucks in the beginning because it's so many changes, like most people have very noticeable changes right from the start, And then that kind of builds up. And so it's just like, okay, well, if I could do this for a week, I could probably do it for 2 weeks. I could do it for a month. And so, like, we're holding their hand the whole time.
And some people need that, yeah. Some people really do need to.
But you were self-starter.
Is why I just went.
That's why.
Well, I was at my wit's end. I was like, you know what? I don't want to feel like this anymore. That was like the first week, and I have some notes here. The first week, not that in particular.
If we were taking a test, I'd be like this.
Yeah. And I'd be like, just go ahead, because it may or may not be right.
I always sat next to the smartest girls in class.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So that how you doing?
So some of the first changes that I felt, and they were, I went home and it was a Saturday I started, and I always do kind of like a prep on Sunday where I do smoothies with fresh fruit and vegetables, for during the week, and lots of other things. Is there anybody else who prepares, like pre-prepares, like snacks? Yes, you do.
I do.
Snacks and smoothies and things like that. I mean, I would have like a whole bin where you could just reach in there and grab a baggie and go. And that really helped with all the traveling and the quick on-the-go meal or something like that.
Yeah, so if you guys do that, post what you do.
Yeah, tell us what you do.
Because that'll help everybody else. I noticed like the cashews and nuts. Like I always just, no matter what I always have a bag of those. And that way, if I ever get like I'm just starving, I just eat a couple handfuls and then everything's fine.
A little handful takes care of your curve or your craving. I threw everything out on Saturday and I started prepping on Sunday, and literally by Monday, one of the biggest changes was clarity, my thought process and my thinking. I felt like I was like becoming aware, even though I'm a highly aware person.
Without the rainfall.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was like, it just, all of a sudden, it's just like this. Like, we were talking about, we're using his phone on here because the one on the computer was a little bit hazy. Yeah. And this one's a little clearer. I mean, it was almost like that. It was just, bam. And I could really start thinking. That was the first thing. Second thing is my joints, through the next week, my joints stopped hurting. I could go up the stairs without feeling like I'm going to die. Yeah. Literally, it just kind of felt like I'd lean on the wall for like 10 minutes sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, it was that bad.
And that just becomes your normal, right?
Right. Yeah. Hey, just take these drugs. You're normal. But how he explained it to me is that a lot of these, like, we're tearing down, like, the vascular walls, like eating away at them and causing issues that actually will kill you. Yeah. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Valerie takes a little baggie of raw almonds to keep in the desk. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
I was doing almonds all the time until I figured I was sensitive to them. And that had my...
I had to be careful about that.
That tickled my throat, and I had to cough with that, too, just like I did coffee.
Yeah. What I also do is I use mason jars, and I'll pre-cut, like, grapes lengthwise, because if you have little ones, if you do it the other way, they can choke and stuff. So I pre-cut everything, and I put it in mason jars so that, it's a quick snack for the kids. If they're like, Mom, I'm hungry, and you just dump it out in a plate, and you're like, here you go. And, obviously, Diana takes dry fruits.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's perfect. I even make my own protein bites, so to speak. It's like I use peanut butter, protein, any kind of protein powder. I use almonds or nuts and seeds, molasses or honey.
You just ball them up?
And like chocolate, little mini dark chocolate chips. That's kind of my...
Yeah.
I sneak them in there. But my kids love that stuff. And I just roll them up in little balls, little tiny balls, drive them down the road, boop, pop it in.
Yeah.
it's a very satisfying snack, and I don't feel like I have to eat like a cheeseburger or a giant Subway sandwich.
Well, I found that once I started eating healthy, like, I didn't crave fast food anymore like I used to.
And that's a big one.
And I didn't have to make excuses anymore. Like, that's why, like, going to the grocery store is now fast food to me.
Absolutely. Like sugar. Everything's sugar.
Yeah.
Everything's like sugarized. Is that a word?
Is now. Patent pending. Trademark.
Yeah. So, clarity, mental health. I think I had mentioned back earlier. I started premenopause. I think we're getting kind of our little things slowed down. And I learned later. ESPN actually did put out an article in the men's magazine, Men's Wellness or whatever the magazine is, and a friend of mine brought it to my attention that men were actually developing breasts, and they were trying to figure out, this is a real story, and that they were trying to figure out why. And so this guy started seeing his doctor, and he was like, I don't know why, your hormones or whatever he did to check it. I don't think it was quite that at that stage yet, but he said, well, what are you eating? And the guy's like, well, I eat, cereal like 3 times a day, and I drink like 4 glasses of soy milk. And he goes, well, quit doing that for a while.
Yeah. And
he quit doing it, and then they went back and tested him again, and literally it was making an imbalance in his hormones.
Yeah.
And so he was, and so when I learned that, I quit drinking soy milk, because I drank soy milk for, 2 years, and I drank a lot of it, and I was starting perimenopause or whatever, premenopause, and that I was 26 at the time, and I'm almost 50 now, so it's kind of it kind of felt weird.
Time.
It kind of felt weird to be starting that so early.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, you got a book on it?
No. Just the idea of like kind of going through that premenopause for so long, or perimenopause.
I don't know how long it was. And then after I had Alex, I had another bout of it, but I think it subsided.
Yeah. Feel normal now.
So I'm going to share a little personal thing.
All right.
So hadn't had any issues with any of the female side, the hormone stuff, because I know he had talked about that on his ad. But it did balance my hormones, and I know that because the next week I had a cycle, and it was like a long time.
Yeah.
It had been a year at
well,
least.
people take so many, like all the chemicals even that we to get rid of it, like they're all estrogenic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's what birth control is high amounts of estradiol to suppress your ability to have ovulation. Right. And so then you stop that. And so a lot of that kind of perimenopausal stuff early is just all the estrogen in dairy, all the estrogen in plastic, all that kind of stuff that just should cause that.
Yeah.
So
there was a real shift in that, is what I'm trying to say. Look at me being all open and personal. Thanks, Scott. Are you listening? Are you there?
Yeah, where's Scott?
Where is Scott? I don't see him.
Oh, Scott's at Kundalini.
Oh, that's right.
Tuesdays.
He's at meditation tonight.
He's living the
yoga
lifestyle.
Meditation.
Yeah.
Is there anyone out there that has any issues with balancing hormones? Because I know.
Yeah, that's everybody.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, like most Americans are like hormonally exhausted by about 35 now.
Because of all this food.
Well, part of it, we don't eat for our hormones, but we also just exhaust our hormones. Like, we love fear, we love inadequacy, and we'll try to buy these things to try to be healthier and happier, but you can't buy those things.
Yeah, and mindfulness has a lot to play in that. And there's a lot of studies coming out on how mindfulness, and when we say mindfulness, we really talk about being conscious and aware and paying attention to your body, your environment, your emotions.
Fully present.
Fully present.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do, but there's lots of. I met a young guy, a friend.
Whoa! Let's calm down now.
One of my best friends. One of my best friends has a nephew who studied I don't know what his. I can't remember what his degree is in, but he's maybe 28, and he has been hired by the U.S. Military to come up with some way to help infuse this mindfulness into the military. And of course, you're going to have like these big, I'm not going to do that. That's just not, whatever. So they call it something else, and it's kind of like when military need to be debriefed or something like that. Then it's actually, he's creating a program where they can infuse that into helping them come back to reality, because really, some of that is really...
Police departments are starting to do that too.
And they're starting to do it with... Oh, yeah. Was it you that told me that?
Probably.
I think you did.
Maybe.
So...
if it's true, I told you.
Yeah, having that, I mean, that's a big deal, to really try to find a group within the city. And I think next week, I think Scott's going to be talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Where you can actually go to...
and there's
look online.
Yeah, I always look at Facebook
your never-ending
events.
source of information.
Yeah, I always look at Facebook events for like meditation,
like
and
Wichita,
yoga.
Wichita events.
But I still didn't know about that. I mean, when I first started, it was just, I think Holly told me about it, invited me. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, it's big. It's really, really important.
And you guys had Kool-Aid, and I was afraid to drink the Kool-Aid. We're all wearing Nikes and jumpsuits. Like that cold.
I remember that.
You remember that cold?
I don't remember nothing.
Oh my God!
I was not clear yet. I hadn't seen him yet.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
So how long did it take? So you're a pretty quick study, right? Because you were already like you spent like decades trying to figure out how to solve all these problems. Mm-hmm. But then, so you're kind of in the right direction, and all we did was kind of fine tune things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But how fast did it take?
A week.
How long did it take? A week, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Just a week.
Yeah.
I have noticed a few little nuances, like today, for example. I was coming here to do the show, and typically I would have like days of anxiety.
Yeah.
There was none of that. It was, none, really.
Yeah.
I think I had a little tickle one day. I was like, oh man, I gotta make a list. I gotta hurry and make a list. And then I was like, okay, I don't make a list. It's fine.
And she came in here, and I'm just like dicking around, like.
I know. I'm like, hey, we only got 30 minutes. Let's go over this now. He's like, we got 30 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes from it, I'm like, hey, we should get some water to drink, and there was
I was running down the hall, trying to fill up the tea.
Yeah.
Thing.
So
another thing. So that was another thing. Anxiety. Like the first week, I would wake up in the morning and I'd go. Well, for months I'd been doing, methods of prayer and things like that. Just really trying to infuse more daily practices and mindfulness and trying to appreciate my life a little bit more than I ever have. Yeah. And I do, by the way. So the anxiety and the sort of panic mode that I would put myself in, even driving to work, sometimes I'd be like, ugh. And it's fine. It was like in the first week, that was another thing that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that too and my blood pressure was good that whole week. It was higher than what they require or what they want it to be. It was like 132 over 90 or 91 or 92, something like that. Yeah. So it was.
But that was just.
It was fine.
Very quickly.
Just within a week.
Awesome. How's it been since?
My blood pressure or just life?
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure's been good.
Yeah. What about life?
Awesome.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, because I had just. I put it out there. I was like, things have to change. And so if you're in a stage where you're, what do I need to do? Just take that first step. Yeah. Yeah. Just take the first step. Takes one step.
I love that. Like, I love how fast things get better.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because the stuff that goes on in the office, like we see all these just horrific patients, and it's just like, it'll get better. And then people are just like, they're like, it's not going to get better. And then they're better, right? But I love, like, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. I mean, 20 years? All right, it'll probably take 6 weeks, And it's just like it's painfully boring sometimes because it's just too easy. And so sometimes you forget like you're really changing people's lives. And so, like it's just what you do, it's just your thing. And
Thanks, Patrick.
no, I'm just teasing.
That's awesome.
And
It's awesome.
And then,
What do
okay. I thought you were
I was giving you high five.
Okay.
Yeah, it changed my life.
So then when, like, you were talking, like, you have those patients sometimes that they do their thing and they disappear. And then I thought, well, okay, it's not that big of a deal, right? And then you were just, like, telling somebody, like, oh, my God, it was life-changing, all this stuff. And I was just like, really? Oh, okay, all right.
Thanks, everybody.
So, yeah, and it's just what I do. Like, I love doing this. I love it. Because you take the worst cases and you're just like, here's a lifestyle that's consistent with life and longevity. And like they're sold, because people are just sold all these ideas of all these complicated ass ways they're going to get better that they never ever get better.
You're right.
And the real cure is simplicity. It's just simple. Now there's a complicated, like 12 years of graduate school and 4 postdoctoral diplomas to learn that it's that simple. But, the reality is if we dropped in a plane and crashed into an island and we just walked around and ate stuff on the island and, swam in the ocean, hung out in the sun, breathed air, we wouldn't have hypertension and all that shit.
Yeah, we wouldn't have anything to worry about.
Yeah. I'd be like,
That's
do these
big.
coconuts make me look fat? So, yeah, and with the male breast thing, Harvard came out and said that men need to start getting mammograms.
Gosh, we're running out of
It was
time.
crazy.
I want to talk more.
I told you. She was worried.
Just a little worried.
That it was just like, an hour.
An hour.
But the
An
time
hour's gonna
goes
go by
like
fast.
that.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I want to come back. Does anybody want me to come back? Oh, look at all those hearts. That's awesome.
Aww.
Thanks. Nobody hearted.
They hearted earlier.
Oh, there was a lot of hearts earlier.
Yeah.
Hi, Melissa.
See, there you go. And when Newman comes on, he just
Evan,
blows it up
Christy.
like crazy. So.
Well, I have lots of things I want to come back. As a matter of fact, I contacted him one time. I was like, hey, I want to be part of what you're doing because it's been sort of a 25-year passion of mine in health and.
We need to have a women's retreat. Like where we teach little workshops and do all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, I'm game. I'm very, very passionate about it, and what I've gone through just since I visited you, and it's means a lot to me. So I want to help. I want to help people. So. Yep.
Good.
Yeah, just like you.
Yeah.
But I'm not as smart as he is.
You can wear the lab jacket. You make
That's a reverse neuron pathway transmitter.
See?
Connector.
That's right.
And also we have 2 minutes, but I wanted to bring up neuron connectors and telomeres. Has anybody heard of telomeres? Recently, I've been looking at some information that I feel like I want to do more research on, but I don't know how smart I am. I'm not as smart as Patrick, but the telomeres are actually the very tips of our DNA.
Yeah.
And they're saying now that in researching it that we can actually regenerate our DNA on the telomeres.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he's just like, oh yeah, I've studied
Every
it.
time you split a cell, which is daily, you have a chance to fix that or not fix it. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing, y'all? I just am like, I've always felt like you can recuperate things. Like I've seen articles that you can regenerate your liver. Okay. There's a couple of organs that, stop drinking alcohol. And by the way, there's no wine. That's part, the doctors always tell me, and that's one thing I did listen to, is like, I like the wine thing. Like, you really need to have at least 1 or 2 glasses of red wine.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we should be drinking wine on the show.
We should.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
We can do it how we want to do. So I thought next month it could be martini. Somehow make martini in November wine.
We have to use organic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have noticed I drink a little bit of gin now and then, and I started drinking the organic gin, and I think it makes a big difference too. Or I'll drink any gin, but that's what my preference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the red wine.
Red wine's medicine.
Coda and Kathy Lee, they drink wine on their show, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, you told me.
It's a medication
Who the
for
hell
me.
is Coda?
So. Coda is her co-host.
What
Or
show?
They host together.
What
It's
show
like,
are you talking about?
What show do they? Does anybody remember what show they are on? Like Good Morning America or?
It used to be.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
Kathy Lee
Gifford, Kathy Lee and Regis. Regis and Kathy Lee.
But then that girl took over.
Yeah, then she took over. But
and then that guy took over for Regis.
Yep.
But where's Kathy? So Kathy Lee's on somewhere with a Coda?
Coda.
What's Coda?
It's a woman.
I gotta watch TV. So, we gotta figure out Martini talk. That'll be good.
Okay, so I want to come back. Can I come back?
Yeah, of course.
And chat more, or maybe I'm just a little too chatty.
Yeah. Oh, so was that Tracy said Hoda Colby? What show is it? So Tracy, what show is it? Oh,
that's her last name, Hoda Colby.
Hoda Colby?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, didn't she have cancer? I know Kathy Lee's husband passed away. Yeah. Well, was that? No, that's not her. Is it?
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
No, it's not her. So,
all right. So,
thank you, everybody, for listening to the chatter. Lots of chatter.
Next week, and you're drug-free now? All your meds are gone?
Every single one of them.
And you feel better. Well, that's amazing. Drug-free America.
Colby.
So.
Hi, Carlos.
Next week, I think we're going to try to get Scott back on.
Scott.
And we're going to talk about mindful eating. And I want to talk about like the end of overeating, like Kessler's book, and sugar, salt, fat, MSG, those kind of concepts. Because a lot of the ways that they make food now is to change the biochemistry of your brain to become more dependent on that. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is it raises dopamine, which then lowers your endogenous production of dopamine, which then actually shrinks the brain. And it changes the way your brain functions based on the food that we eat. So we make a dumber society.
Well, and you know, the one thing, MSG is in so much stuff that actually they're starting to remove all of these things now because they're like, MSG's killing people.
Yeah.
Like,
causes,
just like that, heart attacks.
Yeah.
I'm highly allergic to it.
Instant brain cell death. And that stuff bloats me up like crazy.
Oh, yeah. I break out all over and...
Yeah.
Yeah, whole 9 yards. Hi, Jennifer.
We should do a coffee talk.
Coffee talk?
Coffee talk.
No, we can't because
with
we're
martinis.
not drinking.
Just call it coffee.
Oh. That's a Saturday Night Live thing, isn't it? Coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Some coffee.
All
Whatever.
right. So please share this, you guys. I'm so glad you guys joined, and feel free to keep posting stuff even after the show's over. I'll try to go through and answer everything, and Suzanne will try to answer things too.
Sure.
And then otherwise, have a good week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.
You know how to shut it off? All right. I think it's...
Finish.
I liked when Holly did it because I was always like, don't touch that button.
I'll get it.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Wait.
What?
No, it's the joke.
You're it's off already?
No, you're supposed No, did you remember the Holly? She'd always be ready to push it, and then I'd be like, no, don't touch that button, and then it would stop.